Well, good evening. Thank you for joining us tonight. My name is Stacy Martin. I'm on the Evergreen Fire Department, and it's my pleasure to welcome you to our 2015 Wildland Forum. We appreciate you coming to our house tonight, and if you want to look around the fire department later, please ask, and we'll be glad to do that. I'd be remiss without giving you some building safety and facilities information. In case of a fire, and if the fire alarms do activate, we ask you to calmly exit the building through the clearly marked exit signs. The restrooms are right behind this wall through the hallway. Tonight we're going to have several different presenters. We're going to have our fire chief, Mike Weegee, Jefferson County Sheriff Jeff Schrader, Evergreen Fire Rescue and Communications Manager Christy McCormick, our Fire Marshal Frank Dearborn, Jefferson County Fire Manager Travis Griffin, and also from Evergreen, our Community Educator Doug Sabo. The agenda for tonight is going to be very similar to the folks that I just read. We'll start off with hearing from the Jefferson County Sheriff. Unfortunately, the Sheriff was not able to join us tonight. He sends his regrets. And then we'll go on to our fire department and a few other presenters. Again, we're glad that you're here tonight. Let me tell you a little bit about our department before we get started. Evergreen Fire Rescue was established in 1948, and the purpose then is the same today, to provide protection and serve our local community. Around the room you'll see your neighbors, and your neighbors happen to be volunteer firefighters. For those of you that are on the department, please stand or raise your hands. Actually, I'd rather you stand, so please stand. And raise your hands. Please raise your hands. And we are volunteers. We have day jobs down the hill or in your community. We train every Monday night. Come rain, sun, snow, sleet, you name it. We train on Mondays. And we definitely train on Saturdays too. We want to make sure we're ready to answer the call. When you call 911, probably means you're having a bad day. And we want to be ready to help you and to get you through whatever situation it is. So we work very hard to make sure that happens. My brothers, my sisters, and I, we are there for you. And that has been the same since 1948 and will continue. I will do a little plugs. We actually are getting ready to recruit for our 2015-2016 Fire Academy. So if you're interested in becoming a volunteer firefighter, please see me or one of the other Evergreen firefighters after the event tonight, and we'll be glad to give you an application and answer any questions for you. Well, let's get started. I'm going to ask that Jefferson County Sheriff Jeff Schrader come up and say a few words.
Thank you for the opportunity to be here, Stacy. Thank you for the introduction, Chief Weegee. Appreciate the opportunity to be here. I am the Jefferson County Sheriff. My name is Jeff Schrader. I took office just in January of this year. A little bit about me before I talk about the department. I have been with the department for 31 years, and during my course of time with the department, I've been in charge of every major function in the Sheriff's Office: patrol, support services, investigations, and the detention services division. One of the roles that I had, both while I was in charge of law enforcement and then later on in support services, I had the emergency management and critical incident response functions report to me. And in that regard, our role has been to assist and coordinate for major disasters and major wildfires when they do in fact happen. I have a few people that are here with me tonight. I'd like to make sure that you know who they are. Mark Dupke is back here along the wall. Mark is the Director of Critical Incident Response for the Sheriff's Office. Also along the back wall by the door is Del Kleinschmidt. He's the captain of the North and Mountain precincts for our patrol division. So he oversees all of the operational things that go on in all of North Jefferson County and all of the mountain communities as well. And Clint is sitting back there. Clint is the Director of Emergency Management. One of the things that's interesting that we did with emergency management, I think it's about 3 years ago, we engaged in a partnership with the West Metro Fire Department. And Clint actually is not an employee of the Jefferson County Sheriff's Office, although he's working for us, kind of. We try to tell him what to do. But Clint is a professional firefighter. He's a, what is it? Battalion chief?
Division chief.
Division chief with the West Metro Fire Department on loan to us via contract to help run our emergency management. And we think that is a great fit to marry up the disciplines. One of the roles, one of the responsibilities by statute that the sheriff has is to act as the fire warden for unincorporated portions of the county and to coordinate large-scale wildfires. And the folks that are here all do that in various capacities to make sure that we fulfill that responsibility and also to fulfill our responsibility to maintain public safety while large-scale events are going on. One of the other things that we have is an incident management team that was put together under the umbrella of the Sheriff's Office, and we're very privileged to have people from a variety of disciplines and a lot of fire departments throughout the county participate in that incident management team for those very large incidents that go on virtually anywhere in the county. Floods, fires, and hopefully nothing else, but they've also been deployed in other parts of the state to provide assistance. Tornadoes in Windsor, salmonella in Alamosa, when there was a salmonella outbreak down there. So we have people that are very dedicated and very well experienced in finance, in operations, and in logistics to make sure that we coordinate all of the resources that we need to. And I am very appreciative of our relationship with our surrounding law enforcement agencies and the local fire departments that are in Jefferson County. And Chief Ouija and I, we've been working on a project with a number of other public safety folks here in the last, it's the last year, right? And on a regional dispatch as we continue to explore that. And so it's another opportunity for us to better get to know each other's resources, capabilities, and then also how we can help one another as we move along. They told me that Sheriff Ricky Albers from Clear Creek County couldn't make it tonight, and that I was free to say anything on his behalf. So I talked all about Jefferson County. I don't have anything to say about Clear Creek County. But they are a great department, and Sheriff Albers, he too was just elected and took office in January of this year. Now, it was mentioned that there is you're recruiting for volunteer firefighters. What a great opportunity. And I would encourage people who are interested to pursue volunteerism. And but if you want a really cool job, we are recruiting for reserve deputy sheriffs. Yeah, margin right fast. The question was a little earlier, so I figured I would mention. But a great honor to be here. We'll be here throughout the evening, and love to talk to you a little bit more. Thank you.
Thank you, Sheriff. And as our presenters are speaking, we will have a time for question and answers at the end. But we also have a room set up where you first came in for representatives of the community to provide more information for you. I will say that you will have the Clear Creek Office of Emergency Management there, Jefferson County Office of Emergency Management, HEAT, which is the large animal rescue, the Mountain Metro Realtors with several insurance companies here to answer all your questions, and then those representatives for Evergreen Fire Rescue. So you'll have folks from the communications side and fire prevention. With that, I'm going to ask our chief, Mike Reed, to say a few words.
Thanks, Stacy. Thanks everybody for coming out on this cold night to talk about wildfire. I know it's kind of odd. I'm glad we're getting a lot of snow and moisture. We were at a cooperators meeting last night, which is a lot of the fire departments and the sheriff's office getting together, talking about the upcoming season. The National Weather Service did a presentation there, and it's good news that the South Platte Basin is at 114% snowpack, so we're glad to have it. The foothills are in a no drought situation, which is also good news. And that started, I believe, last year, so I'd like to see that trend continue. Just a state of evergreen fire. Right now we have 75 active volunteer firefighters, which is, we're really, really fortunate to have so many firefighters in this community. Evergreen is ahead of the trend nationwide for people volunteering. Volunteer fire departments are struggling around Colorado and around the nation, so we're really fortunate to have so many in our troops. We've got 14 in the academy right now, so they should be graduating by May, and we're anxious to get them out there. So we keep building our numbers up, and we hope to have another large academy next year. 2014 was a relatively quiet year, and it rained a lot, which was great. The downside of the rain is the fuel load out there is really, really high. In previous Wildland Forums, we've talked about how the fire department operates, how we attack fire. We talked about some of the larger incidents we've had. With this forum, we wanted to concentrate more on what resources are available to you, the public, to mitigate and to get your properties cleaned up. We can't do that for you. We need your help. We need you to get together as a group, as a neighborhood, as a subdivision, and really start getting rid of a lot of that down timber that's in the forest, breaking away from your houses. So it gives us an opportunity to get in there and actually do some good to try and save homes and save lives. Properties that are mitigated, the reality is we can't go in and do it for you during a fire. We're going to look at it, we're going to make a decision, and we're going to move on. We can't do anything to save that house. So we need your help. We need you out there mitigating those properties. We went on only 11 forest or brush fires last year, which is actually a big number when you think about how much it rained last year. So there were still fires happening around. A lot of them happened. We had one happen in November. So it got really dry in the early winter. It's usually really dry in February. So we did have some activity last year. But one thing I do like is we ran on 145 smoke checks. We really need the public calling 911 if something doesn't seem right. Our best chance to get ahead of a fire is to get at it quickly and while it's still small. So we need you to call 911. We don't mind. We'll get out there. We'll bring the guys love to drive the trucks and get around. So we'll check it out for you. You know, if something doesn't seem right, it's a hot day and, you know, maybe you think it's a chimney storm. Don't hesitate to call. We'll get out there and we'll check it out for you. We got to stay ahead of these fires. I talked a little bit about how you can help us with mitigation. Travis is here from the Sheriff's Office. He's going to talk about slash collections. That process has changed somewhat. Our Fire Marshal is going to talk about an initiative we have going that's being carried over from Clear Creek County, and Kathleen Krebs is here tonight, Clear Creek's emergency manager. They started a great program over there for community wildfire protection and implementation plans based off of our community wildfire protection plan, which was written in 2007. And this is getting communities together to work on cleaning up their properties, cleaning up their neighborhoods, and setting them up so the fire department can succeed if something happens, and you can get out safely if something happens. So Fire Marshal Frank Dearborn is going to talk about that. Communication supervisors here is going to talk about Code Red and getting signed up. And I'm going to finish off by just talking about situational awareness a little bit. A report comes out every year from a group called the Core Logic. This is a company that does a study for residential properties. And their study this year centered around 3 major metropolitan areas, one of them being Denver, Aurora, and Lakewood. So, looking at this slide, you can kind of imagine what red means. Red is not good. The foothills, they rated this 2 ways. They rated it as from good to very bad for individual homes, and they rated it from 0 to 100 for neighborhoods. So if your home's mitigated really well, but your neighbors is really bad, they're considering that now, looking at the embers are just going to blow into your house and probably start your house on fire too. So they rated this 2 different ways, and unfortunately the foothills, as you can see, is between 81 to 100 in this rating system. This is kind of a telling slide right here. Evergreen's at the top of the list. We are by no means out of the wildland urban interface. We are the wildland urban interface from Highland to Brook Forest to Evergreen West, the whole area. We are right in the middle of it. If you saw the videos of the Waldo Canyon fire, that was Highland. The fires were jumping from house to house, and that could easily happen here. So, Evergreen, unfortunately, is at the top of the list, and what they look at is replacement value of the properties in Evergreen, by far, at over $2 billion. That's what's at risk in Evergreen. So we really need the community to help us get this turned around and try and get the neighborhoods cleaned up. Mitigation. This is something that's always has been debated. I'm going to talk to you tonight about what the fire department wants to see from your mitigation efforts. I can't speak to the insurance companies. You have to talk to them individually, and I'm glad someone here tonight to speak to you about that, because there is no standard. They've set their own standards of what they would like to see, but from the Colorado State Forest Service, getting together with CSU, Firewise also follows this. So this is what we really want to see for your mitigation efforts. And this is what we're going to look for when we go in there to triage those homes. The first 10 to 30 feet, that's zone 1. You don't want to have anything really flammable there. I know that's hard to say. Some people will just put a rock bed around. If you keep your grass really low, that's good. Don't have shrubs up against your house. Small trees up real close to your house in that area. If we go in there and you've got a nice little garden and we don't have time to go and cut all that out and rip it out, we may just have to move on to the next house. So that first 10 to 30 feet is really, really important. These brochures will be available to you, and at the end of the slides there's some websites that you can go to get these. Zone 2, 30 to 100 feet. I know a lot of our properties aren't 100 feet long, but this is the area where you really want to clean your trees out and limb them up. We need to keep the fire on the ground. We need to keep the grasses low there. We need to keep it from getting up into the trees. It's referred to as ladder fields. When those ladder fields take over, we've got a big problem. So now you've got, and your trees are too close together, it's called a crown fire. And when it's moving from treetop to treetop, we can't do much about that other than get out of there and wait for it to get back down on the ground. The third zone, some people's properties are big enough. This is where you just need to be thinning, reducing the number of slash piles you have, or combining them so they're in open areas. We still want the habitat to have places to live, so we don't want to take everything off the ground in these areas. But limbing up trees, same thing, thin it out a little bit to try and keep the fire on the ground. This is a great picture. This was actually at the Bluebell fire that we had a couple of years ago, of how something on the ground can get up into the treetops. 12-inch grass can make 12-foot climbs, so you really need to be knocking that grass down low. This was just a shrub underneath this tree, but as you can see, the flame lights were enough to get it up into the trees, and once it's in the trees, we really have a problem. So clearing out stuff away from the bottom of those trees and keeping the grass and the shrubs up is really helpful. Limbing those trees up to a minimum of 10 feet helps us a lot. Situational awareness. Again, don't hesitate to call 911. We don't mind coming out. That's what we do. The guys love to get dressed up. They get it right when weather. So please, call 911, we'll come check it out. If you want us to come to your house to talk to you about it, that's fine. If you want to remain anonymous, that's fine. The guys will still go out and check it out and make sure we don't have anything going on. Especially during inclement weather situations. When we have these lightning storms that blow through and we get hundreds of lightning strikes around evergreen, we need you paying attention to what's going on around your house or around your neighborhood. If it's those lightning strikes that can really cause problems for us. Know your evacuation routes. Doug may talk about this a little more, but you got your primary route, you go in and out every day. Think about a secondary way out. If that's blocked, the law enforcement's great about helping us make sure people get evacuated. So they'll generally direct you which way they want you to go, but it really helps if you know. If you don't feel right about something, something doesn't seem right, grab your stuff and start going. Don't wait for that reverse 911 call. Don't question reverse 911 calls. Dispatch centers just get flooded with phone calls when there's an incident going on. Most of them are people calling in saying, what's going on? Why do I have to go? Just please follow the direction, get out, find somewhere you can go and watch the news, and you'll catch what's going on there. We really need people moving earlier at that first phone call and not later when the second or third phone call comes. Pay attention to the burn bans and the red flag days. Those will be posted on our website. They'll be posted on the sheriff's, the county websites. So get used to going in and looking at those. The red flag days are our worst days. That's when we will man stations. We'll have guys driving around in trucks. We're making sure that there aren't any quick startups. Fires are most often caused by weather events or people. It can be somebody deciding they're going to put a fire that afternoon and it gets away from them because there's high wind. Weather events can be high wind where power lines get knocked down and starts a fire. We get trees into the power lines. And it can be lightning strikes. Lightning strikes, those fires can start up to a week or two later. They'll be under all that duff, that thick duff that's in the woods, and they'll creep along, there could be in the root system that's burning, and once it gets to the surface and finds some oxygen, it'll start burning. So don't think, if you smell smoke or something with the last lightning storm, it was 2 weeks ago, it could still be that same cause, so don't worry about that. Improper ash disposal is something we deal with a lot. And people love to take their ashes and put it out in the backyard and clean out their fireplace. The next day, high winds pick up, that stuff is still hot. We get a lot of grass fires that start that way. So please, put some water on it, stir it up, keep it in your garage for a day, let it cool down, dump it in the snow is the best thing you can do. So when we get so many small fires that start from that, and actually we consider every structure fire a wildland fire. Because on dry days, any kind of structure that's burning can easily spread into the urban interface. So we attack every structure fire thinking we can turn into a big wildland fire. Some of the resource sites are listed down below. That Colorado Forest Service website is there. Firewise is something we promote. We love communities to get more involved with that and our website. Thanks.
Thank you, Chief Ouija. Like myself, Mike lives in the community, so he's very concerned about wildlands and how it could affect his neighborhood too. I will tell you another way to find out information about what's happening is for those who are into technology to follow us on Twitter. Our handle is @EFR_CO. We will post information there, especially when there's an emergency, on red flag days. Any type of information we can provide to you, we will put it there too. Our next speaker tonight will be Christy McCormick. Stand by, technical difficulties. I can
start while Stacy does that, maybe else. Oh,
Next slide down.
you're helping with that. Okay. Hi, my name is Kristen McCormick. I'm the communications supervisor here at Evergreen. I'm going to talk a little bit about Code Red, which is Clear Creek County's and Jefferson County's reverse 911 notification system that we have. If you're not familiar with it, if you're not registered, I would strongly encourage everybody to either go to the websites for the individual counties, or they'll also have information in the other room on how to register. You can register through a couple of different ways. I'm going to show a really quick video. It gives a little bit better explanation on Code Red, and I'll increase your familiarity if you aren't familiar with it as of yet.
Seconds count, there is a difference. Who thinks it? Seconds count, there is a difference. And it makes a difference. Code Red, a high-speed emergency notification solution designed to notify millions of people in minutes. The Code Red system is used by clients all across the United States, Canada, and the Caribbean to inform communities of missing children, evacuations, hurricanes, wildfires, and severe weather. Code Red is also used to initiate and dispatch teams of first responders. When a life-threatening event impacts a community, a Code Red notification can be launched in just a few easy steps. Authorized system users log into the secure Code Red system and then select exactly who should receive the message. An entire city or state can be selected, specific groups, or the system allows geographic notifications using easy targeting tools. Then, the message is created. As soon as the message is launched, citizens are immediately notified by phone calls, text messages, emails, social media messages, and through the Code Red mobile alert app. The app provides geo-specific messages to only those subscribers in the exact area of impact. So visitors to the area, as well as citizens, can receive messages directly on their smartphones. Code Red. Alert, inform, affect lives.
So that gives you a brief snapshot of what the Code Red system does. We've used it quite a few times here since the implementation and the use of it. So I, again, strongly encourage, you can register your email, you can register numerous phones to a location. That way you'll be one of the first to know if they have that. One of the things I would caution people is make sure you understand that VoIP phone systems is where your billing goes to. So that's the address of that route, so be aware of that, please. We're going to talk a little bit about wildfires. That's why we're here tonight. 3 years ago, the 911 dispatch center here at Evergreen Fire with the Jeffco 65 Wildland Fire received 220 911 calls in the first hour. Many of these were people giving us the good information that we certainly need and we certainly encourage people to give us, but a lot of them were people asking questions. What's happening? What am I seeing? I'm hearing sirens. I smell smoke. Certainly pay attention to what's around you. As the chief said and the sheriff, as long as we know we can send somebody to check it out, then we're ahead of the game. So we certainly appreciate that, but we also like to caution people that our system can get inundated. Not only did we get inundated, but Jefferson County got inundated, and it rolls over to Lakewood, who have really no idea what was happening up in our neck of the woods, so they weren't able to answer any of the questions. The other thing that can happen is there's more than one emergency usually hits. You never get one at a time. You're going to get 2, you're going to get 3, you're going to get 4. So we have to filter those very quickly, but also make sure we don't have 2 fires in 2 different parts of Evergreen. So sometimes it sounds like we're getting very quick information in a really short time frame, and what we're trying to do is just filter. Are we getting the same information that we've already received, or is this something new that we need to go ahead and share with the people that are out there responding to that? Media these days has much better information than back in the day. We have our PIOs that are responding out so quickly to the scene. They're getting the information directly to the incident commanders that are there and in place, and then they're disseminating that information. We're also using the code red. So go to trusted sites. Don't go to sites that may be questionable or it could be hearsay and those people aren't in the know. And if you need assistance in evacuation, you've been asked to evacuate, call 911. That's an appropriate 911 call to say, I need help getting out, or I have somebody who is in my household that needs additional assistance. If you have a separate emergency, certainly call us. We'll be more than happy to come out. One of the other things that I'd like to ask people and make the community aware of, call us when you have a campfire. Oftentimes we have somebody a mile up the road that sees a campfire and they think that there's a brand new fire. And we'll be more than happy to send somebody out. But if you give us a heads up that you're at this address and you're having a campfire, we know where to go. And that way it's safer for our responders also. When in doubt, call 911, just two of them. Some of the questions that we may ask you is, what direction are you looking? What's visible? Are you seeing flames? What is this? Are you smelling it also? What's the color of the smoke? These are all questions that we're going to ask to give our responders better information. How long have you been watching it? How big is it? How far away is it? Where are you? And the reason we ask that is oftentimes we'll have one of the firefighters go to your home, and that way they can put eyes on what you're seeing, and we can calculate. We have a mapping system that's great in the 911 center, and we can kind of pinpoint where that may be. So we ask you to help us help the community. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Christy. And if you do need to call 911, this may be a friendly voice that you hear on the other line who can help you during your emergency. Next, I'm going to have Frank Dearborn come up and give us a presentation. Frank is our fire marshal.
Good evening. As I introduced, my name is Frank, I'm the fire marshal. I'm also under contract with our Creek and Foothill Fire. I have. Can everybody hear me? Yeah. Thank you. Yes. Doug is my co-worker who does my school inspections, as well as community education. I know we'll be introduced later on. I won't even plug for that. My other co-worker is Shelley Hunter. She's walking in the door right now. We're showing residential inspections throughout every region. So there's Shelley right there. Okay. In 2007, there was a grant that covered they did a study. What's the chance of wildfires starting in every region? What the hazards are for subdivisions. They had five extreme areas, five extreme subdivisions labeled extreme. They had 20 homeowners high and covered as moderate. What they did was they went through, checked the access to these subdivisions, checked how the homes are, roadways, evacuation routes, how homes with combustible roofs, how close the trees are, or to the wood is to the homes and everything else. So they did this plan for all of Evergreen. Now is the countywide protection plan. Since then, we have a gentleman, and his name is John Chapman. Can you stand, please, sir? He has worked through Evergreen and worked with Clear Creek on doing countywide protection implementation. And this plan is, we have grants for this, donations for him to go to homeowners, to HOAs, to talk about this plan and try to make their subdivision a little safer, or what to discuss with their homeowners in the area on evacuation routes, how to mitigate their homes area, to do things to make their area safe. So after this meeting, he'll be available in the training room to talk to you about setting this plan up for your homeowners association. Right now, he's working on 2 plans in Evergreen. There's a subdivision in Highwan, as well as Marshner area that covers Evergreen Highlands area down to Thanks Drive and Military Creek. You can talk to him about that, and he'll work with you on that. You do have the funds for him to do this. We're paying for him to do the service for you, for your homeowner association. He'll develop a plan to help you out. It's not how to do it, who's going to pay for the mitigation rate, that's up to the homeowners association. I'll cover part of this in the future slides and how to help you out. But John will do that. Okay. All right. His website, his email's up here, and his phone number. You can contact him later on. Slash collection. Slash collection in Clear Creek County. They have a site, and the address is up there, Idaho Springs. They have it in April through September. It's free drop off. Here's the catch. You have to live in Clear Creek to do it. I asked, since half our district is in Clear Creek and half in Jefferson County, for the homeowners in Jefferson County, our fire district, they said no, because the taxpayers are paying for that in Clear Creek funds, so they could not do that. So what we have is Jefferson County has, and I spelled his name wrong, and I apologize to him earlier, is Brett Roller. He's under contract, and I'm taking some of your thunder. Sorry, but that's how it was done. But what he has is he's under contract with Jeffco, and he'll be talking later on. There's Brett right there. He'll be available inside there. What he has is a mobile slash collection unit that they'll go to different places. He's going to school. He went to our fire station right on Brook Forest last year. He went to other places around Evergreen. They're trying to set up 20 to 30 units, sites this year, starting the last week in May 30th to 31st, throughout Evergreen, throughout Jefferson County. There is a fee involved on it. They'll have it on the website. The website where the slash dates are will be up here. It's up right behind me here. His number's there. His email address. Travis will cover that later on this, but it's available. It's great. You'll just drop the stuff off. You work with homeowners associations. Neighbors, you get a bunch of neighbors together and stuff on, find open site. That'd be great. We're working with Station 8 this year, trying to do that for us. Okay. Burn permits. Jefferson County, Clear Creek, there's burn permits slash pile burn permits. That's authorized to be used through from November to the end of March. Procedures are behind here. You're required to for an application from us as well as a state application. That has changed to Clear Creek. We used to be Evergreen Fire, used to be authorized burn permits in Clear Creek. That changed 2 years ago because of the state and county regulations and stuff. But you have to provide a copy. You get a copy from us, and we fax it on to the state environmental health office. They'll approve it, return it to us, and we'll fax it to the land development use. Because what they do in Clear Creek, they notify by letter the homeowners in the area. That helps them know about the smoke in the area from slash burns. Right? It's also for health reasons, they do that for them, so they know what's going on in the area. Okay? The permits and everything else from the health department can get back within 2 days, 2 hours. To 3, we've had one back in 45 minutes. But don't expect them to work on Fridays, they're closed. So just want to let you know that we cannot approve burn permits in our office up here. Okay, this is their website here. There's information on it. It has the ordinance that took it over from the local fire districts to authorize the burning permits and stuff and the procedures. It has the current burn maps. And here's what the burn map shows here. This area here shows all the burn permits that are throughout Clear Creek County. So if you're interested in that, what's going on in the area, you have that information. Jefferson County, also too, is the Clear Creek permit is free. Just takes you time to come down to our office and fill out the paperwork and we fax them to the state. Jefferson County has it that you have to do application to us, as well as Jefferson County's application. They charge $80. What it is, they do a site visit. Required to do a site visit on it. Okay? Their time to turn around is 3 to 5 days. So right now we have 10 permits for Jeffco and 30 permits for Clear Creek that is active right now in our district. Okay, there's the Jeffco permits. There's their site and everything else with information on it. Residential properties. This discarding stuff for communications on that, they need to know if our volunteers respond to calls. Is your address posted so it's visible from the street? We've had a lot of times, we've had a call. When I first started in '98, I was told as a story that they had a private driveway that split up at 3 other homes. They had a heart attack going on. None of the driveways were posted with the address. They picked the middle one and it was the correct house. We need to have the address posted. Yes, there's GPS. Yes, there's satellite photos. Yes, there's J-Maps in Jefferson County that shows all the addresses and stuff on. We have volunteers, ambulance crews responding quickly and stuff on that. Our firefighter volunteers do not have GPSs on them. They don't have the stuff on them. If you have a shared driveway, you should have your address posted. Because we have mutual aid departments coming in for wildland fires or even for medical. We've had times we've had 5 calls and stuff, 5 medical calls all at the same time. We've called in other departments to help us out. We need your help to make sure our firefighters and ambulance can get to your address and stuff. So make sure it's visible from your house or from your post of the driveway. We have these new places that are putting nice rocks that have been engraved and everything else right on the ground. Well, you get snow 2 feet high, you can't see it. Okay? So please make sure. Who has a gate into their property, at least to their home here? Anybody? Do you have your gate code with us, sir? No. Okay. How are we going to get in the gate without taking it down? Take it down. Seconds count, especially in the medical call. So please contact me afterwards, and I'll be glad to put it we have a listing in dispatch. It's confidential and stuff on. We don't give it out to nobody. We have that for access. Okay? Is your driveway wide enough for emergency vehicles? Emergency vehicles are 8'6". We've had driveways that are down 8 feet. County standards, both Jefferson County and Clear Creek, require them to be 10 feet with 2 2-foot shows on either side. That is for mirrors, and or snow plowing and everything else, you have it on the side. There's not for trees in there, or fences, or anything in there. We're supposed to have at least 14 feet wide for going in there. Do you have trees over your house, over your driveway? We had one person say that my car is only 5 feet tall going in there. I want to show cars, so that's why I only have the trees down to 8 feet. But we can't, our trucks are 11'6". We asked it to be as a 14-foot driveway, but 14-foot clearance over your driveway going in there for us to go through. We've had mirrors taken out, we've had damage to the roofs, damage to our light bars, and everything else going through. We have people that have archways going in there on the driveway to their house, 10 foot. My car fits on there, why can't yours? Well, our truck's 11'6", we can cut it down. One department, you know, I have to do that just to get into the property for fire call. They will do a chainsaw, cut down the roof, and right across the top. Please help us out on that. We need to make sure we have access to it. Do you have a bridge that leads to your property? We've got bridges in Evergreen that cannot take our fire trucks. Okay? We've got bridges that collapse underneath one of our pickups. Okay? We've got bridges that we walk across and stuff on in between the boards and fell through. We put the boards in there with the safety. That'd be for weight stuff, the personal vehicle goes through. If you have a question about this, if you pass your bridge, contact me afterwards, we'll be glad to come down and talk to you. Okay? But we've had some bridges in Evergreen that washed out up the Rear Creek that have been replaced and stuff, and their gross vehicle weight, which means that the amount of weight that you put on a bridge is 80,000 pounds. Our vehicles weigh between approximately 75,000 pounds. We have a little bit more with your equipment on there. So help us out on that too, because we may not be able to get across your bridge. While the mitigation are on your home, Evergreen Fire Rescue does not do mitigation inspections. Okay? There's people that are certified to do that. Okay, Clear Creek, there's Trent Hyatt. There's this number right there. We'll conduct a free mitigation inspection for your property. Okay? So he said just call him and stuff, and I just talked to him in the last week. He does have a busy schedule, but he's willing to work with you on that. Just for Clear Creek only. Jefferson County has a list of 9 foresters for the municipal space inspections. When you build a new home or add 400 square feet to your home, you're required to have one of these 9 sign off with the municipal space permit. So most insurance companies that I've talked to will accept a letter from them if you have to have your insurance, homeowners insurance. Okay? And the list is right here. This is on their website and stuff on it, and it gives a list in there. They do not remove the stuff. They'll mark the trees down for you. You have to hire somebody to take it off. Okay? And then go in there and just have nothing back out for inspection. What you need to do is, that's just one list. Okay? That's just a list. If you have plans on adding to your home in the future, in the next 1 or 2 years, you may use that inspection for your building permit. Your insurance companies may accept this stuff on, so we'll just give you this list here. There's other mitigation groups out there. One group I found out, we can't plan it up here, but we talked to them at a meeting we had last week. They do free inspections. We'll mark the trees for free. But here's the other side of that. They're the ones who remove the trees as well. So there's other groups out there. Just talk with your insurance company. Will they accept this group here, the letter from this group here, who's doing the work before you get it done? You've got people out there, yeah, they hired a group to take down their trees and everything else on their property, but now the insurance company won't accept them. So they spent $3,000 doing it, and they didn't have somebody else come in. So just make sure if you're going to do wildland mitigation around there, see if they're reputable, see if they are certified, check with your insurance company if they will accept this for it. A lot of insurance companies want these people to do it. They want you to do wildland mitigation around your homes. Okay, if you have any questions, I'll be available in the training room afterwards. Here's my number, here's my email address, and thank you for your time.
Thank you, Frank. And for those of you, where I'm swapping out slides, for those of you that heard a high-pitched squeal tone and maybe some voices, we actually were just dispatched to a call. And that's fantastic, but that's how we get it. We have these little pager things, and regardless, morning or night, they'll go off. And our loved ones have this love-hate relationship with these little minotaurs. But we respond. I just watched several folks walk out of the room, and that's fantastic. That's what we're here for. We will stop everything and go and help. Our next presenter is Travis Griffin from Jefferson County Fire Manager, and I'm going to pull up his presentation.
No presentation, just one slide with some information on the slide.
You talk about it.
You pull up on that? Sure. Okay, great. So, just real briefly, introductions. Yeah.
Can you talk to the microphone?
I sure
so you
can,
get
yeah.
a room?
As soon as she moves out of the way, I will.
Hey, Travis.
You can hear you in here, but they can't back in the
It's
other.
wireless.
You spell his name wrong.
I did. All right. So, real quickly, Travis Griffin, I'm the Jefferson County Sheriff's Office Fire Management Officer. I am honored to work with Evergreen and law enforcement folks, and I have also the opportunity to host a fuels management program under me, and man of many bandanas, Scott Halliday's here, who's my fuels crew supervisor and also a very integral part with large animal evacuations, especially horses. He's here tonight, so I get to know Scott, super valuable resource. But before I get into some of the mitigation resources that I have available under the Sheriff's Office Fuels Management Program, just give you a quick history. The Sheriff's Office used to host upwards of 7 different slash collection weekends. As costs increased, it scaled down to 3 weekends with a company would come in and grind and haul that stuff out. There was some other processes in place, and now there's going to be more slash collection, and there's a facilities. He's name's Mark Danner. He's heading it up and working with Brett Roller on the contract with getting quite a bit more weekends and more slash collection available. I don't have all the nuts and bolts of it, so I'm just here to direct you to these websites and this information. So make sure you get it. I'm going to leave it up the entire time I talk. I think that there's this one at the top one. That will have all the current information as it's getting updated throughout the year. I'm not going to be the point of contact for slash. Brett will be, and Mark Danner. So, the other
resources that I can talk to you guys about that I have going on.
So, fire management program is multifaceted, fully integrated fire program, suppression, lots of planning, CWPP, core team, looking at the county level plans, the fire district level plans, and the community wildfire implementation plans, which are very community specific that John Chapman is working on to focus your planning efforts into that shovel-ready project that you guys are saying, here's our #1 priority. We want to do a field break, or we want to do a phased defensible space along this side of the road, so on and so forth. And John's very integral in getting that collaboration going on a community level. So when you guys are at that point and ready to move towards getting, where the rubber meets the road and getting those trees out of there and remove the fuels or do the prescriptions that are necessary to keep the fire behavior intensities and severities down to a manageable level for the fire departments responding, or law enforcement evacuating folks out, keeping that scene suppressed to a level that's manageable. Now, sometimes I'm not going to beat around the bush about this, but the weather and fuels conditions like 2012, like 96, like 2002, those fire weather conditions can be so extreme that it becomes a matter of life safety, and there will be no person that can stop that fire. So basically what we're trying to get you guys to understand is that all of this stuff helps. However, in a true wildfire scenario where the conditions are so extreme, we need to go to a defensive strategy. So, but keep it in mind that those are the 90th percentile conditions, 97th percentile conditions. So, the majority of what you guys are trying to accomplish here is super beneficial around your house for the majority of the wildfire scenarios and situations. So, generally, when you guys are getting to that point, coming together, I'm always available, Scott's available to come to those community meetings. We do not do individual home site visits. As you saw from the core logic, there's way too many homeowners out there, and the insurance company is caught on to these community wildfire protection plans, and there's a lot of challenges that you guys face as homeowners. So, unfortunately, I don't have the resources to do the individual site visits and the assessments. So, but when you guys have that more collaborative, bigger approach and larger projects that are effective on a larger scale wildfire, that's where I will be trying to provide you guys with that technical assistance and give you the different options of grabbing some of those grant monies that are available, that are out there, and walking you through some of those process of reimbursement, because a lot of those grants are reimbursable dollars. So as you guys are coming together, maybe work on a fund, because the work's got to get done first, and then you can seek reimbursement. So it can be tricky for community groups. So that's where my fuels program has been pretty successful, because we're paid for by taxes. I got the person called a sheriff's office employee, other sheriff's office employees. So we can get some good solid projects going with you guys that if they match up, okay, here's an extreme risk community, here's a very operable, good access area, everybody's on board, this is a slam dunk, that's going to get my attention. I'm really going to work with you guys to make sure we get that project going. There is a mountain, literally, of work out there to get done for your guys' communities. There's so much work to go around. We are just one resource for you guys to go after. The private sector, there's a lot of other options for you guys to actually get the work done yourselves. I'm sure some of you guys chip and drag and call and do it all yourself, and I applaud you for those efforts, so continue it. And there's all these other programs that we are a part of that kind of fall into this. Prescribed fire is one of them. I know that is a very politically sensitive program. However, we are in an ecosystem that has seen fire exclusion for a long time. And to properly utilize prescribed fire as a management tool is vital in the success of life safety. And that is just a fact. And so there's baby steps that we have to get to in order to truly get those prescribed fire programs corralled and really, on a very streamlined effort that's there also being prioritized on a very regional scale, up and down the front range. A lot of efforts are going on there. As you guys probably heard, Boulder County was successful in doing a prescribed burn on open space. One of the things that I'm working towards is working with Denver Mountain Parks very heavily on their lands, because there might be a handful of you guys that live adjacent to Jefferson County Open Space, Denver Mountain Parks. A lot of those lands are very overgrown, very neglected, are outside their fire regime condition classes. They're basically ripe for a fire, so they need substantial entry and removal of biomass, fuel, stuff that burns. So with that, a lot of our efforts have been able to go in there and focus on those areas adjacent to the communities where aviation resources, dozers, hand crews, a lot of the specialized fire equipment can be more effective. So we try to bring all this together to keep costs down, to keep fires from being very damaging and destructive. So in the long run, it's life safety first, property conservation is our second objective, and then stabilizing the incidents third. What we've heard here tonight, all fires start small, so if we can do that, incident stabilization right off the get-go, then we're well ahead of the curve. Those other two fall, out of the picture. So that's pretty much what I have for you guys tonight. I'm available with Clint, Mark, Sheriff Schrader, and the rest of these professionals here in the room. So we all want to give you guys the best current research-based information that we have available that's going to give you guys the tools to be successful, and we get you guys money or anything to get work done and continue this grant process, because you saw on the maps the targets there. Nationally, we're at that epicenter of the wildland urban interface. It's not a hard sell to see the needs here within the community. So it's all of us. It's a community. I don't know have a better say. But it's up to you, your neighbor, me, and it's a giant effort. So that's all I have on tonight. Trying to talk off the cuff. Just generally, real quick, who's here lives since Hayman Fire?
Who's with what?
Who's lived here since the Hayman Fire? Okay. Who feels that they have met the defensible space guidelines on their property? Who feels that it's never ending?
Travis is a wealth of information, so please do take some time and get to know him and share some information. The next presenter is Doug Saba. Doug is my partner, and I don't want to say crime, but my partner in crime when it comes to outreach efforts and if there needs to be information shared with the public. So I'm going to ask Doug to come on up.
Can you hear me now? All right. It's going to be hard to see. Maybe I can do it at blue pen. We have a new, that blue pen don't work. Let's try black. Our new webpage, efr411.com. All right, efr411.com. If you didn't get anything out of everybody's speeches, even though they were really long, Travis, efr411.com will take you directly to our webpage, which is evergreenfirerescue.com. We still have that webpage. You can go to either or. After tonight, we will put all the information from this meeting, maybe. Okay, as much information as we can, as quickly as we can on our webpage. If you go to our webpage, we also have our Twitter feed on there. It's automatic, it shows up on the webpage. So when we have a wildfire or a major incident, you can go right to our efr411.com and look at our webpage, see what's happening. We will link it as much information as we can with the OEM from Clear Creek in Jefferson County, as well as send you to the right place for information. It's maybe a Jefferson County blog or Clear Creek's blog, and that'll tell you evacuation information and so on and so on. Right, Del? Hi, Del. Thanks for coming tonight, Del. I think this is the coolest room in the whole city right now, because we got a lot of people that are interested in mitigating their properties, giving information about mitigation. And I'm not going to talk too much because the chief covered most of my topics. Thanks, chief. But I am going to go over what we have on our webpage, and hopefully I can pull it up here. There we go. The Ready, Set, Go program is something that's been adopted by the fire chiefs in Colorado. A lot of the pictures that are on the Ready, Set, Go program are from Evergreen, and it has a lot of our firefighters as well, information. It was put together with the Ready, Set, Go program, which is national. With that being said, it has at the end of it a checklist. It goes over your property. My battery's running low. And it's a real user-friendly sheet that goes over information on what you can do to your property. Defensible space, the chief pulled up a pretty good graphic. This one's a little bit hard to see, but it does give definitions of Zone 1. That 15-foot space, it's kind of hard to read, but it says 15 foot around the structure. As he said, can you hear me? It could be 10 to 30 feet. There's 3 different programs out there. FireWise, Ready, Set, Go, and the State Forest Service has adopted the FireWise, which they're changing, of course. Every couple of years they have to change things, along with their computers, which I don't understand.
But anyway, so they got the 3 programs, and then we have our insurance companies, which are in the other room, that may have their own requirements. So this forum is to give you as much information as we can. It's up to you to disseminate what you do with your property. Whether it's ready, set, go, fire-wise, you mitigate that first 10, first 30 feet. What is your insurance company going to accept? How much of those trees do you have to take down? The separation of bundling trees, instead of having all of them together, maybe have a group of 10-foot trees here, a group here, so there's some separation. As the chief was talking, so you don't have those canopy fires jumping from limb to limb, from tree to tree, right to the top of your house. With that being said, I got some displays from the State Forest Service that are in the other room, and hopefully you have some time after the forum. I only got 5 minutes left. Thanks, Travis. And you can go to the other room and look at those displays and look at a house that has been mitigated, that has everything separated away from the house. You got the propane tank right next to the house. You've got limbs hanging over trees, hanging over your house. Just some separation stuff. It's pretty good displays. A lot of information out there. Also in the other room on the same table is tax information. There used to be tax benefits if you did mitigation to your property. The changes, the chief gave it to me the other day. I printed it out and put it in there. Okay, chief. All right, taking all that information. So, looking at the zones, it is important for the firefighters, as the chief covered. More importantly, is getting yourself prepared to evacuate. We talk about with HOAs and kids at schools to have a to-go bag by the door. Pretty simple thing, but it's important when you have to leave in a hurry. People in Florida have those bags by their door with stuff ready to go because they know a hurricane is going to hit eventually. Evergreen, wildfire is going to hit eventually. Now, we don't have flooding very often, maybe once every 100 years, right? It just happened to be last year. Right. So we'll prepare for that as well. Same thing. We just did an emergency evacuation of the outdoor lab. The kids were involved. We did it yesterday. More importantly, out of that evacuation thing, it went really well. We simulated a fire in the forest in 1.5 feet of snow. But it was really good for us to work with Clear Creek County, with Jeffco Schools, because that is a Jeffco school in Clear Creek, and Clear Creek Sheriff. Something that the chief didn't talk about and the fire marshal didn't talk about, thanks Frank, is we are all working together. All the mountain area fire departments, the chiefs are talking. That's something that didn't happen 10 years ago. We're working together with the sheriff's department. We sit down with Dell and pick his brain and say, Dell, you're on scene with us. You handle the sheriff's department stuff, we'll handle the fire stuff. But we're standing next to each other in the same command center. That's something that didn't happen many years ago. This is my 28th year in the fire service, and I haven't seen chiefs talk like they have now. We're working on automatic aid and mutual aid with all of our surrounding fire departments. Again, that's something that didn't happen. It happened in the past. It's happening now. So this is just a good checklist to go through your home. At the end of the checklist is your plan. And I went over this last year at the forum. My personal wildfire action plan. Fill it out. Think about the things that you need in that to go back to take with you, but who you need to notify. When I went down to Waldo Canyon and answered phones for the Joint Information Center, I got calls from New York. I have a family in Evergreen, they're at this address, I don't know where they're at, I can't get a hold of them. Share your information with your family. If you're evacuated, notify the people that are going to call us. As a little bluebell fire, got 200 and some calls in the first hour. We're getting those calls from families down in Waldo Canyon from all over the country looking for their families. If it's that big of an evacuation, there's going to be a Red Cross set up. where you can go to a website, log in, using this center or whatever, but you got to check into those centers that are evacuation points. So all that information's in the other room. I'm going to go over that in just a second. And we got one more slide. Great. Travis works really well with us because he comes up and does a lot of our trainings for wildland teams. He joins us on our trainings, I should say. I think we teach him more than he teaches us. But it is a cooperation that he's very memorable.
I got learned from my eldest.
So on that note, Travis can leave right now. I will just go over items in the bag, go over, mark your path. The chief said he wanted me to go over a little bit of that. It is on our website. It is part of the Ready, Set, Go program. More importantly, what is in the other room is going to be important for you tonight, and that's why you're here. We have HEAT, Animal Rescue, which was on Facebook the other day. They did a great rescue up in Golden, I understand. Give them a hand. That poor horse got stuck between a tree and a tree and a tree. I understood that. But we also in the other room have the insurance companies answering questions about mitigation of property and what they require. They're sponsored by MMAR, the group, and they're here also, which is a realty group up here. You can ask them questions. Office of Emergency Management for Clear Creek, Jefferson County. Then we'll have Frank at his own booth, because he likes to talk to people individually. And the fire chief will be walking around because we can't tie him down to one spot. We will have the sheriff in there if he's got time to stick around for answering questions. We'll do some question and answer before we go to the forum, but again, thank you for coming tonight and appreciate it.
Thank you, Doug, and thank you all for joining us this evening. We'll do a quick question and answer right now, but if you don't want to do it in a public forum, that's fine. We all will be here to answer your questions later on tonight. So are there any questions for any of the speakers tonight?
What is the hottest and most dangerous ladder fuel to get rid of?
That's a great question. Travis, is that a good one for you?
John raised his hand, why don't you take it?
There's these really tall trees called junipers. They're little fuel cans. That's mine here.
For those of you that couldn't hear, the juniper trees, we do call those fuel cans. They can get big, and man, they go up fast. Travis, what's your favorite tree that burns fast?
Well, trees, I'd have to say a juniper tree, but you know, your fine fuels are what's going to burn the fastest. Grasses, needles, those are the things that on the hottest, driest, windiest days are going to carry the fire. And then when it gets up into the grounds, then basically you have 40, 60 foot tall, intermingled, grass basically, of a tree type. So it's just, it really gets going like that. There's nothing to do.
Great, thank you. Any other questions for the group while we have everyone together? Yes, sir.
Can you define level 1, level 2, level 3? What those mean when we get that call?
For the evacuations, the question is, can we define level 1, level 2, and level 3 evacuations? Apparently the chief gets to get this question.
Level one is a notification to you that there's an incident in your area. And we want you to consider that, start getting ready to get out. We're letting you know it might be a structure fire that we're afraid is going to turn into a wildland fire. So we're notifying you that there's an incident in your area. Level 2 is we need you to get out. We need you to pack your stuff and start loading up your car and get out. Level 3 is grab what's right around you right now and get out immediately because the fire is coming very quickly. So all 3 of them are very important. If you get a level 1 and it tells you the location of the fire and it's somewhere near where you live, don't wait for level 2 or level 3. Get your stuff, start packing up, and just start driving out. If everybody waits and everybody goes out when there's a level 2 or level 3, now we have traffic problems. The sheriff's office worked really hard at trying to get traffic flowing in a direction, but if you get an early start, it really helps with that. So don't wait for those other phone calls. If you get a level 1, take it seriously and start getting your stuff together. You know, head out, find somewhere to go and try and get some more information on what's going on.
Thank you, Chief. Any other questions? Well, with that, I want to thank you for coming tonight, and we do ask that you please stop into the room adjacent to this one to get some more information. I love living in this community, I know you do too, and it's our goal tonight to make us more educated about how to keep this community safe and strong. So thank you.